Good morning, Colonel Bye. It's Friday, September 30th.
It's a day 2.
I'm Anastasia.
And I'm Mara. And here are your morning announcements.
The lost and found bin will be cleared out by today, so please pick up any missing items as soon as possible.
Interested in learning about different trivia topics like history, science, geography, or pop culture? Colonel Bye's Quiz Bowl Club is back.
This year, Quiz Bowl will host weekly trivia rounds alongside their intramural Quiz Bowl season and outside of school tournament opportunities. Anyone from brand new members to returning members are welcome to join.
Quiz Bowl will be having an interest meeting today at lunch in room 149. Hope to see everyone there.
Are you interested in joining CB's weightlifting club? Join the Google Classroom below to start seeing those gains.
Our very first coffee house is coming up on October 21st. Anyone interested in performing, there will be a performers meeting today at noon in the Big Art Room.
Are you interested in learning more about the 2S LGBTQ+ community? Or maybe you're looking for an inclusive, safe space to hang out?
If that sounds like you, be sure to check out CB's Gender and Sexuality Alliance, which will be hosting an interest meeting on October 4th in room 131 at lunch.
Make sure to follow their Instagram at colby.gsa to stay in the loop, and check out their Google form on the club directory for more details.
Interested in making money, creating your own business, and gaining leadership experience in different aspects of businesses? Colonel Bye's Junior Achievement Club is back.
Junior Achievement will be having their first meeting of the year this upcoming Wednesday after school on October 5th in room 212. Hope to see you there.
CB Swim Team is back. Interested in joining? Come to the interest meeting on Monday, October 3rd at the beginning of lunch and join the Google Classroom at the code below.
Just a reminder that today is the deadline for course changes. Please use the course change request form found on the CB guidance page to make the request.
Attention all debaters. Debate Club is having an official meeting that will be after school on Tuesday, October 4th. Come to the lecture hall room 215 to watch a show round and learn what it takes to debate. All are welcome.
Today, September 30th, we recognize the Day for Truth and Reconciliation.
We are here honoring the Indigenous community and remembering the atrocities inflicted by the Canadian government.
Remember, this is a somber occasion where we grieve the many losses and recognize the ongoing pain of survivors and their families.
We ask you to please be respectful and pay attention to the following assembly.
Bajashig, welcome. Welcome to unceded, unsurrendered Algonquin territory. Monique Manach Indishnikos, Kittikanikanishnabek and Dojaba. My name is Monique Manach, and I'm a member of the Algonquins of Barrier Lake. And I'm sorry I can't be there in person. I think that when we gather for truth and reconciliation, and I think we should do that more than September 30th is great. But I think we should do this more often. I think if we do, then the sharing happens, the learning happens. And I think once people know more about the real history of what happened with Indigenous peoples in Canada, that there will be more reason to want to change things. For me, truth, reconciliation is an outcome of truth. It's not, we do this for reconciliation. Well, for me, that's kind of the cart before the horse. When the truth is known, when it is normalized within our society, when everyone knows the history, understands the treaties, sees how the relationship developed and changed over the years between Indigenous nations and the government, I think then reconciliation is a natural outcome. Again, because most people are, they want to see everyone have human rights. We all do. Personally, I think clean air and clean water should be part of our human rights, but that's another story. And we want to make sure that our children and our future have the best chance possible. And in order to do that, we all have to work together. And, coming together today, I think is wonderful. I think there's a lot to learn. I think there's a lot to share. And I think that there's that'll give us the best foundation for moving forward in a good way. And I encourage all of you to share your own perspectives, your own thoughts, your own experiences, because it's a two-way street. There has to be reciprocity. There has to be, like when people don't know about something, it's not, and especially about Indigenous history, it's not because they turned a blind eye. It's because they were never taught. Not knowing about something isn't a shameful thing. It needs to be rectified. People need to be taught. But that's what this kind of sharing and learning is all about. And I think learning is something that goes on throughout our entire lives. They call it lifelong learning. And I think it's really important. And I think it could start here. But I think any opportunity to share and to learn about other cultures, not just Indigenous and non-Indigenous, but there's so many cultures, so many in Ottawa, so many in the world. And I think the more we learn and the more we know about each other, the more we can help each other, the more we can grow together, and the stronger our future will be. So I would like to open this space with a few words from our Creator. Kachimigwich Jemnado. Thank you, Creator. We are grateful for all the things you have put in our homeland that help human beings to live well. We acknowledge and honor the streams, the rivers, the lakes, and the oceans. We acknowledge and honor the medicines, the ceremonies. We are grateful for the sky above us. We are grateful for the Mother Earth and for all things that live beneath the surface of the earth. We acknowledge and honor our ability to bring peace to one another. We are grateful for our ability to prepare for the spirit world, for when this short physical world ends. We remember our friends and our family who are ill and suffering, either mentally, physically, or through addictions. And we hope they have a good day today and that they return to us soon as role models and as mentors. And we remember our roles and responsibilities to live our lives with great respect for all living things. Kachimigwich, 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 Kachimigwich. Thank you very much. I know you're going to have a wonderful day.
I would like to recognize and acknowledge the gift of being on Anishinaabeg territory, and specifically on unceded and unsurrendered Algonquin lands. We recognize the two closest Algonquin First Nation communities, Kitigan-Zibi and the Algonquins of Pikwakanagan. We also recognize that in 2022, Ottawa is a gathering place for many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis from across Turtle Island. We acknowledge the traditional knowledge keepers, both young and old, and we honor their courageous leaders, past, present, and future. Today, on September 30th, we gather together on this land that is occupied by OCDSB schools and facilities that serve OCDSB students. As members of the OCDSB education community, we share a connection to this day, the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation in Canada, and a day that we have referred to as Orange Shirt Day. We are students, family members and caregivers, staff members and trustees coming together to honor and remember the experiences and loss of the First Nation, Inuit, and Métis children who were stolen from their families and placed in residential schools. September 30th represents the time of year when this happened each year, and today, the land that our schools and district buildings occupy also represent a place for truth-telling, listening to the truths, and taking action toward rebuilding relationships of trust, respect, and friendship. We remember today that for Indigenous children, schools have not been places of truth-telling, have not been respectful nor friendly. You may know the story of a student named Phyllis, called Jack Webstad, and her favorite shirt, the orange shirt she picked out as a 6-year-old for her first day of school, a residential school. And as you may know, when Phyllis arrived at the residential school, her orange shirt was taken away from her forever. School for Phyllis and for over 150,000 children who attended the 139 residential schools in Canada was not a place where it was safe to express who she was. As a result of being forced by the Canadian government to attend a residential school, Phyllis and all residential school survivors lost many important things like their own language and their ties to their own community and their own families. We also know that many students did not return to their homes and to their families, and in fact, lost their lives at residential schools. For Phyllis, she believed and hoped that school would be a place where she could shine and sing and be exactly who she was. She wanted to matter for who she was and for all the gifts, talents, and brilliance that she brought with her to school. When we believe and know that Phyllis and every child does matter, we do better. On the lands of our OCDSB schools today and tomorrow, we will do better. And we will demonstrate that every child matters and who they are as brilliant and perfect children matters. I want to set an intention for how we will do better in the schools that are on this land. Let's use this land for sites where all Indigenous students and all students' learning spirits are elevated and set free to develop and soar. Schools that sit on these Indigenous lands will be places that center Indigenous stories of past, wisdom of the present, and the knowledge needed for our peaceful future together on the lands of Turtle Island. This land we are on today together was land on which Indigenous children thrived with their families and prospered with joy and love before residential schools. The experiences and the losses as a result of residential schools in Canada have impacts that extend generations beyond the years of operation of these schools. Despite hurt, pain, and trauma spanning multiple generations, this land remains the home to Indigenous brilliance, beauty, strength, joy, and resistance. In this acknowledgement, we can commit to using the land today to listen, to learn Indigenous truths and knowledge. Truths about feelings of belonging with families, belonging to the land, and belonging through culture and traditions and elders' guidance and teachings. In these lands, students in the OCDSB will experience wisdom found in Indigenous ways of knowing and teachings and learn how this can unite people from all cultures towards healing and also in the work ahead to nurture our collective humanity and prioritize the health of Mother Earth. In OCDSB schools, students will be recognized and valued for the sacred learning spirits that live within each child. Lessons from Indigenous youth such as Kenzie can guide us towards a path of relationship building with truth and trust for reconciliation when we listen and learn. In a grade 7 essay contest entry, Kenzie, a student, wrote about importance of education. Kenzie wrote, "Education is very important to me as it will help me reach my goal in becoming a fighter jet pilot. I'm in grade 7 right now, and it will help me to graduate from high school and then university or college. Education will open many doors to more knowledge or opportunities, and it will teach me responsibility. The more education I have, the more opportunities will come. Education will get me one step closer to my dream. My dad has been trapping since he was 12, and he was brought up in the traditional way. He knows the trap line like the back of his hand. He also has skills that cannot be learned in the classroom. He has a different kind of degree. My dad learned different things and different skills that are not recognized by a piece of paper. I am proud of my dad, and I am learning from him. So I am privileged to learn these teachings from my dad. We need papers behind our names to live in today's world, but we still need those traditional teachings to learn who we are and where we come from." As we begin this day of recognition and learning, I want to again acknowledge our place on the lands that belong to the Algonquin Nation. Please set an intention for the actions you will take so that OCDSB schools on this land will be sites that demonstrate the many ways that every child matters and every child thrives in all experiences and outcomes as OCDSB students. Miigwech.